Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raity's Rides, and I am here at Motorsports by Reeves in Tampa for their annual, or should I say monthly, gathering. It's that first Saturday of every month, and I have a very special car behind me. I am a Porsche fan. I'm not going to deny that. I have this 2012 Porsche Cayman R. Now, if you don't know anything about the Porsche brand, Porsche has been around for decades. Dr. Ferdinand Porsche created his epitome of what the perfect car, the perfect sports car would be. And for so many years, it was that 911, and still is that 911 that is that icon that really is the image of Porsche. And I think Porsche has found themselves in a little bit of a conundrum because the 911, it's a great car, no doubt about it. Well, I'll never argue that ever. One thing that's defied science and physics is that in a 911, that engine is hanging over the rear, past the rear axle. That's a handling problem. Even though, 911s can handle like nobody's business, takes really a great driver to make that happen, especially on the older ones. With the Cayman, what they did is they took that engine from past the rear axle and they put it in front of the rear axle to make it a mid-engine. Now, I know that this is really the way to go, and the way you could tell is that guess what? If you watch the IMSA WeatherTech series, you would know in the GTLM class, the factory Porsche RSRs, they actually have moved in their 911 the engine to the middle. But anyways, let's get back to this 2012 Cayman R. So if you don't know anything about like what is that R stand for, R is going to get rid of some of the weight. You're looking about 140 pounds lighter than your standard Cayman. And you have three options back in 2012, your Cayman S, and the Cayman R. I actually think the Cayman is one of the sexiest shapes to come out of Germany and Porsche shops. It really keeps that traditional look where you could see the lines of a Porsche. But once we work our way down the side of the car, you're going to see some differences when it comes to that 911. But I really, really like just the simplicity. You could see the open grills, the fog lights. I really like the headlights that they're doing on Porsches. And I've always been a big fan of the logo. That German flag motif to it. It really gives it a nice touch. And I really think that Porsche, out of all the brands, even Ferrari, has been able to keep their identity the best because no matter where you go, you're really going to know when you see a Porsche. Of course, a 911 is the easiest to spot, but this Cayman is really another iconic shape. If you know anything about endurance car racing, I really think that the Cayman looks like a little bit the 911 GT1, that they took that shape and kind of elongated it a little bit because it is a mid-engine. Let's go ahead and check out the sides here. So where some of that weight savings is going to take place is with these wheels. These 19-inch wheels are actually lighter than your standard Cayman and Cayman S wheels. I really like the flat black, and then if Tom could show you the nice silver trim around the lip. Of course, we're going to be running those Porsche Brembo brake calipers. And you can see from the factory, you have an aluminum hat that's going to save you weight and rotating mass. And you also have a fully ventilated and slotted rotors. Because remember, this being the R version is that ultimate track weapon for the Cayman fan. What's really neat about this one is remember, with the new Caymans, or as they like to say now, the 718, it comes with a flat four with turbochargers. This is your normally aspirated 3.4 liter flat six, 330 horsepower. You got that nice flat six sound. But anyways, let's continue our way. I really, really like the roof line of the Cayman. This is one of those points that I was telling you about. With a 911, the roof line is a little higher. I like the lower roof line. I really like on the Cayman R here where they put the Porsche logo. It really reminds me and goes back to those 1960s and 70s where a lot of different Porsche 911s used to run the logo on the side. It really breaks up the white. I've told you this before. I'm not usually the biggest fan of white, but on this car it really works because of the black that you find accenting around the car to really make it, pop a little bit in that. I don't know if Tom can zoom in here. You're obviously going to have functional side vents. These things are functional because remember, the engine is in the middle of the car, so air is going to go into there, into that rear compartment, that 3.4 liter flat six. Let's take a look out back. I really, really like the back of the Cayman R. I like the way the back slopes down. Now, normally on a Cayman, in this area, there would be a pop-up spoiler that would pop up at speed. This, being the R version, comes with a fixed wing to provide that downforce, and I guarantee you this thing is functional. You can see on the back here the Cayman R logo. I'm sure Tom could show you, and I really, really like this back window section. That's something that very, very attractive on the Cayman. This one has actually a roll cage in the back as well. It looks really good with the white on the outside, white on the inside with the black interior. And then, of course, you have that nice central exhaust outlet to hear that flat six. And that's what is so unique about a Porsche is when you hear that flat engine, especially a flat six, it's got such a unique sound to it. And remember, the reason why they call it a flat six or a boxer engine is because those pistons are laying down flat and they're punching like boxing gloves side by side. But anyways, the outside of this Cayman R, pretty badass. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. All right, guys, we're inside this portion. Great place to be. If you look at the door panels, simplicity is what it's all about. This being the R, one of the places I'm sure Tom will show you is where they're saving weight is there's no door handle. They actually have that pull latch that's actually made out of cloth, and that's what's going to open up the door to get you out. Because remember, our version, we're trying to cut weight. I really, really like the seats. You know, whether the seats are in a 911 or a Cayman, they're very, very simplistic, but they're very elegant and they do the job. I really think they hit the nail on the head with the amount of bolstering that they have. And I like the way the back is one piece instead of it being a separate headrest. I'm going to go ahead and have Tom come into the car and show you some of the other features in it. As you can see, the Cayman R, lots of people are drawn to it like a moth to a flame. Traditional Porsche styling. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. This one has the PDK transmission. That is going to be that gearbox that is renowned, that dual clutch gearbox. Very quick shifts. I do like the silver trim. I also like the way they brought the white from the outside into the center console area. And you can see with the nice trim around everything. One thing Porsches have always, I've noticed for a long time, is that you're always going to have lots of buttons. So here's your infotainment system. Remember, this is 2012, so things have changed since then. Your infotainment system, your AC, it's all buttons and whatnot. And once you get used to it, I'm sure it'll be no big deal. This one being the R comes with the chrono package, so you have that beautiful clock there, very traditional piece. And then really, at the end of the day, nobody's doing steering wheels better. You have a nice round steering wheel, no flat bottom, none of that gimmick. Very nice trim around the horn. It has a little marker. Normally this would be red. I think that this is something that, being the R, I would like to see this trim right here on the steering wheel red. That will let you know when you're at top dead center of the steering wheel. Another thing that Porsche does really well is the location of the gear change levers on both sides to go up the gears and down. It has a very nice positive feel, and they feel very, very high end. They don't feel like cheap plastic and whatnot. One thing that I'd probably give a zonk, I don't like the location of this. This is for your cruise control. They need to put this somewhere else. This needs to be a button or something, because if you're on a track and you're going with the steering wheel, you don't want to be bumping that. That'd be a waste of time. Of course, like always, tachometer smack dab in the center. That's your most important information. You got the speedometer to the left and your other information to the right with coolant and fuel. What's amazing is this car has 47,000 miles, which isn't a lot by 2012 standards, but I actually thought it had less mileage because of the condition it's in. But being the driver, very, very comfortable. Everything, you know, you have that wonderful 3.4 liter flat six behind you. I'm a big guy. Tom's a big guy. I think both of us would agree we don't feel really cramped in here. It's very, very nicely laid out. But let's go ahead. I've said so much about that flat six. Let's go ahead and check out the flat six. All right. So like I said, this Porsche 2012 Cayman R, that flat six, 330 horsepower. Let's go ahead and check it out, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood. Oh, where's the engine? No, trust me, I knew this. Obviously, this being a mid-engine, engine is going to be in the middle of the car. What's nice about Porsches that I have always found, especially the Cayman, is there's lots of room here. If Tom could swing in with the camera and show you that if you're going to take this on a trip somewhere, you could actually put a lot of luggage in here in this front section. And then there is even a little bit of space in the back. Speaking of the back, let's go check out the back of the car and find out where is this engine? Where is this engine sleeping? Probably the biggest zonk that I have for this car is when you come to want to see that flat six, it's not an easy task. So flat six is going to be located underneath this carpet area. Another thing that I just want to show you too is that if you look here, this is where you're going to put oil and whatnot for the engine. Because remember, this is a mid-engine. All that stuff needs to be in the back. Lots of room though. So at the end of the day, if you're going to go to a track event or whatnot, you could put a bunch of stuff in here to spend the weekend at Sebring or Watkins Glen or whatever to do your fun track day. But that's one thing I would have really have liked to have seen is that 3.4 liter flat six. Remember, normally aspirated, so that thing is going to sing like no tomorrow. If these are the types of cars you like to see on Radi's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. Thank you guys who have subscribed so far. We're at over 5,000 subscribers. If you have not hit that button yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please hit that subscribe button. Check out my Instagram and Facebook, all Radi's Rides, original content all the time. I want to give a big shout out to Eli and Jason for allowing me to review this Cayman R. And for Big Tom, Big Gun Tom there holding the camera, thank you, Tom. And like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.